let's go and talk about Dead Cells. Delphox, you actually saw me stream Dead Cells the other day. That's a circular sentence. And I really like this game. It's an early access. It's a Metroidvania, leaning more to the Castlevania side of that. And it's procedurally generated, which is, I think, one of the biggest problems with it. For me, it's a very personal thing. Oh, this is me trying a platforming challenge and failing. Haha. And so it's a roguelike very similar to Rogue Legacy in that you will die and you will unlock some things based on your progress to use in the next run, whether this be 5 to 10% damage boost for swords, or an extra health container thingy, or other various items, the amount of gold you get to keep when you die. You lose everything, but you keep those boosts that you earn by killing enemies and getting their dead cells to use to power up this thing, etc., etc. Between each floor of this dungeon, there's a room where you get to upgrade, different things, and that's where you get to use that. So it's a risk reward of, do I get through this room quick enough to, do I risk going over here to collect more cells, or do I leave to go and power things up because I can't power things up in the middle of a run or a floor or whatever. And that's all well and good. That's the familiar hook you're probably aware of with Rogue Legacy or any roguelikes or games of this ilk. There's also a few abilities you get, which so far have been finding objects in the world, and one ability allows you to turn them into vines you can climb on. And the other ability is these little sarcophagi that when you activate, you teleport somewhere else. So those are the abilities you unlock, and you unlock those permanently by defeating a little sub-boss elite enemy. And I like that. I like that aspect of it. I like all the enemies. I like the combat. It's very fast. There's a dodge move. There's a double jump. All these different weapons you get, whether it be swords or bows or lightning from your hand. That's pretty cool. They can have other little effects where there's arrows shooting out when you do it. There's secrets, like I just found a secret. There are other things such as little abilities, which I like a lot of the bomb abilities. There's a frozen bomb, there's grenades, there's a bear traps, various different things, and you can only have 2 at a time on the left and right triggers, so you're using them in tandem with your other abilities to, okay, this does more damage when the enemy's on fire, so I'm gonna throw the grenade, set them on fire, and then do this other thing. Or I had then they do crazy effects too sometimes, where I had this weapon that when it killed people, they would blow up, and their body, detritus, whatever, their giblets, would also blow up and hit enemies. So enemies would get caught in their own little just explosion of their dead friends. And I thought that was a really cool thing. It's got that going for it. It's got the loot of a Diablo going for it, where there's all these numbers and do I want this status effect or this other status effect? And that's really cool. I like that quite a bit. But, and this is still an early access game, and I've only played 5.5 hours of it, it just starts to kind of fall apart for me when everything's so damn random. And the upgrades you get are so inconsequential, and it feels like I'm climbing a mountain when what I would want from a game like this is a much quicker experience. And not even that much quicker. I just mean, I want to see some progress. But I'll play this game for half an hour and I'll have upgraded one thing, and it's just I'm getting nowhere. And as fun as it is, it's not fun to have to go through the same worlds over and over again, even if they are different layouts, because you'll also get different weapons. And this time I didn't get any good weapons, so I died over here because I just, the random number generator didn't give it to me. This time, the first area gave me 3 or 4 level ups for my HP, so I was a stupid tank. And this other time, it gave me 1 for strength, and that was it. It's too random heavy for me in terms of that, and in terms of the abilities you get, what type of bombs. I've gone through this game, I've played runs for the first 15 minutes, and I will not have any abilities. These I'm looking at on the screen right here, I'll have none. And that's crazy, and it's just not fun. And I know that's the randomness of it, and you're supposed to keep playing, but it's I'd rather this game be 10 hours and I'm just building this crazy character and then it's over. And I'd also, this is coming fresh off of Hollow Knight, which I loved, which is a Metroidvania, which is not procedurally generated, which is very much carefully laid out worlds and all that. The procedurally generated stuff is cool, and it's awesome that it never ends, but it is nowhere near the lovingly crafted whatever that you'll get from any other Metroidvania game, and that's the problem with it to me. It's never going to reach that. It's never going to get to be what that is, and that's just a fact. Like, these random rooms are cool and all, but there's something to the Uncharted, we made this set piece because it's epic, here's every moment to the letter, this is exactly what we want the player to experience, here you go. There's something to that. It's very different from the open world, oh, I threw a bomb and it flipped this bus and the bus went off the rails over here and it killed this pedestrian who like pushed their friend into the car, like these crazy sandboxy moments, these water cooler moments that can only happen because they're in a sandbox, because it's so random. They're cool too, but at a certain point, I want the game to be crafted, and that's just a more personal thing for how I play games. I want something a little more crafted, which is why stuff like this, the boss fight, is really cool, because this is a moment that's defined. This boss has defined moves. Well, all the characters have defined moves, but defined area, you just have to deal with his attacks. I'm down with that, as opposed to the other ones where it's just like random shit can happen. This guy's randomly here, the room bends this way and now it's super easy, or this is super difficult for no reason because the randomness got here. Like, I don't know. I'm stuck up on that, and that's not even necessarily the biggest problem. The biggest problem to me is all the weapons you can get that aren't guaranteed. If the upgrades you were upgrading were permanent, even if they were tiny, even if it was, hey, you get 10 more HP, and it takes 50 dead cells to have 10 permanent HP, I would love that. I would love, this is the upgrade system thing here, I would love that much more if I was upgrading my stats that way, even if they were tiny. And if you got stats throughout the game as normal that were better, fine. But those base stats are always so terrible, and I don't feel like I'm upgrading things enough. I still think the game's really good, and some people love this game. I'm not great at it. It's also maybe the other problem. Like, you're going to see me die here in a second. Or almost die here in a second, because it's just I'm dumb. It's right here. And I think it's worth it. I think I got it on sale for like $15. It is early access. They are adding a bunch of things. But again, they added a bunch of things I'll likely never see. Like, this is the furthest I've gotten when I happen to be recording this. And I don't know if I don't know if I want to do it again, because it's just kind of a pain in the ass to have to do everything over and over again. And this is coming from someone, me, who, I keep bringing this up, it comes up often, got the platinum in Bloodborne. I love all the Souls games. Like, I don't mind doing things over and over when it's 5 minutes, not when it's 25, 30 minutes over and over. That's what bothers me. The fact that I beat the first boss and now I can't just start after the first boss with maybe the level right before it. I have to get through 2 levels and then fight the boss again and then get further from where I was. It's just too much of a hassle to me. And I mean, I think that just comes down to I have a lot of other things to play. Like, I got my stupid new Oculus I don't need. I got all this stuff I can play. I would rather be playing those experiences than really dealing with any of this nonsense. And it's fun and cool. Here's where I die, because like 3 things hit me in the face. I'm like, I don't even know. I'm just real bad. Like, it just doesn't have the difficulty. It just ramps up way too quickly, and my abilities suck or either really good, right? The randomness will give me crazy awesome items, or I'll get trash and the run's just over. And I hear people on the internet, well, okay, one person, I saw one quote, and that's it's on the Steam page, that's where I saw it. And it says, oh, these runs take, 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm like, this video that I cut this part out of is 45 minutes almost. and it's just too long of a run. The Binding of Isaac, see, I played that when it came out and I forgot about it, and I've never played Afterbirth or Rebirth or whatever. It is very much like that. That's exactly it, actually. That's a very good example. It is very Binding of Isaac. You're not guaranteed to get all the tiers you want, or the weird little things, or the map warps around the wrong way. Yeah, it is very much like the Binding of Isaac. If you love the Binding of Isaac, you probably like this more than I did, because I played the Binding of Isaac for like about probably the same 10 hours maybe, and I was like, that's cool. It's not for me. I see it and I appreciate it for everything it is. Same with Dead Cells. I see the genius here. It just doesn't click with me, and it's you know, because of those reasons. It's just too. I want that crafted. Give me a little more of this crafted experience. Look, all my nonsense is up. Than what this offers. You know, it's fine. It's not bad. It certainly isn't bad. By no means is it bad. But yeah, I completely forgot about that. Binding of Isaac is the perfect example. But it's I don't know. I don't want to tell people not to play it. Not that I have any power or anything, but because it's good. It's not a bad game. It's just there's like some caveats involved and it starts so slow. Like, that's the thing too. This first level, it's so deceptive. Things will randomly start doing a third of your health bar, and you're like, well, the last level they barely did anything. It just doesn't quite have the difficulty curve that I would expect, or that I'd want. And I like these kind of hardcore fighting side-scrolly games. It just, when you're using the same sword for 30 minutes because you haven't found anything, that sucks. You know, that really sucks. You're at a big disadvantage, not because of your skill level, but because of a computer picked a random number and you lost, right? Like, that's the problem to me. Merry Christmas. And any more questions? Class. I like the art too. I didn't mention the art. The art's really good. It almost, you could look at this game and say, like, it looks done. It really looks pretty close to done. I've had a few weird little glitches with it, but nothing game breaking. I've heard some people had crashes, but I haven't had any problems. But I never seem to have any problems when people are like, oh, this crashed all the time. Nier Automata doesn't work on PC. And I'm like, it worked fine for me. I played it for 30 hours. What else can you do? Oh, you can equip this like collar thing, which is some super ability. You can get one that revives you if you die only once. You can get a bunch of other things. Like, I had one that when I took damage, enemies around me would take damage, equivalent to that. That was cool. There's a lot of really cool ideas here. I just shorten the experience down to where a run doesn't take 45 minutes and I accomplish very little. That's my deal. Also, Merry Christmas. Also, you can break those doors down and without paying the money. And if you break the doors down, you get cursed. And if you take any damage, you'll die. But if you kill 10 enemies, the curse is lifted. So there's some really cool ideas here. That's the heart that can revive you. Really cool ideas. I just think it's not for me. The bosses and enemy, I like all the bosses and the enemies. Yeah, I have no complaints there. It's a very, very solid work there. Really good enemies, a nice mix of strategy. Like, you see this, like that guy, you know, he's a ranged guy, and that other one, the green ones, are the melee guys. So there's some interesting crowd control you have to do, and knowing what that enemy can do. This enemy, when you kill him, he releases these exploding spores, so you have to leave the area. There's some really smart ideas there, and as you keep going through the floors, more and more enemies start appearing, and they did a really good job. It's not like it's not Tales of Symphonia where 2 hours in it starts recycling sprites. It's not like that. They have some really cool ideas, and they mix it up very well. That's one of the sarcophagi. They do a good job there. The one boss I fought was good. The elite enemies too are way tougher than that boss. Like, they'll teleport, they're summoning minions. Out of control. Out of control. No more question. Why is this so hot? What the fuck was that?